This is the European edition of Breaking Banks, the world's #1 fintech podcast and radio show. We bring you the European unicorns, startups, founders, regulators, and leaders innovating the rapidly evolving fintech scene today. A truly localized podcast with both English and local language content, with some of the world's most well-known hosts and influencers in the fintech sector globally. Join us every week as we explore what makes the European Union a phenomenal proving ground for many of the fastest growing fintech plays in the world today. Okay, let's roll.
Hey guys, welcome back to Breaking Banks Europe. My name is Matteo Rizzi. I'm the executive producer of the show. Today, it's a show that I cherish particularly because I am with my old friends at SWIFT. We're going to talk about Sibos. All super excited to be back into, probably the closest to my heart event ever. And I'm here with one very old friend, old in terms of time because she's super young, and a new friend, that joined SWIFT much later than I left. So Jaime and Nick, welcome to the show. Well, let's start with the short round of introduction. Jaime, head of Sibos, welcome to Breaking Banks Europe.
Thank you. Long time no see, Matteo. Hi everyone, I'm Jaime. I'm the head of Sibos. Very happy to be here today with you all.
Thank you, Jaime.
Hi everyone.
Hey, Nick, please.
Hey, thank you, Matteo. Hi. So I'm Nick. I'm head of innovation at SWIFT. I missed you, Matteo, at SWIFT. I've only been at SWIFT 2 years, so I guess I'm still a newcomer. But I look after our innovation strategy, our portfolio of innovation sprints when we develop a new product or adopt an emerging technology, and also our responses to sort of disruptive trends like digital currencies and digital assets.
Amazing job, my friend. Amazing job from where you're seated. So, guys, let's start with a little bit of how do you feel sort of questions, about coming back after 2 virtual Siboses, if I'm not mistaken, Jaime. How does it feel to go back to real life?
For me, I think it feels a little bit surreal, honestly. I'm honestly taking a day at a time, from the time that we decided to go back in person. It was the 29th of March. Matthew, you will know, like from your past experience in SWIFT, we usually plan Sibos the year before, right? So this year, we only decided to go back in person on the 29th of March, which is, of course, a very short runway to put together a show like Sibos. But we have been so fortunate, so in less than 4 weeks, our entire exhibition was booked out. And within 4 weeks as well, when we opened up Sibos for speaker nomination, we received over 930 nominations in also 4 weeks. So we're super encouraged. We're super duper encouraged by, the support and the desire to come back together, as one global financial community at Sibos. So I always tell our colleagues and the team, it's like it's no short of a miracle that everyone's so doing their part, because we can be open, but there might be no uptake, So it's been one wild ride, and of course we still live in a world of lots of uncertainty, So it's really just doing the best you can every day, taking it a day at a time, no regrets.
No, so I think Jaime, that the stars were aligned pretty well, because the fact that Sibos is in Amsterdam, sort of if this was an Asian year, maybe it would have been a little bit more complicated. So I'm super happy, that that at least all the logistic part, because I feel the challenge, of preparing everything in 6 months, whilst usually, it takes a year. What about you, Nick? Because if it's 2 years, you only got virtual Sibos in your place so far, right?
Exactly, Matteo. And so I'm like Jaime, I'm feeling the sort of the surreal nature of it, and I'm also simply incredibly excited, right? The ability to bring this community kind of back together, both in person and digitally. So it's going to be a hybrid form for Sibos this year, but obviously bringing back the in-person piece is a huge kind of development. And I kind of, I've been preparing now with a number of kind of, panels that we're which are innovation kind of themed that we have. And I sense a real kind of buzz around this, right? I think people are ready for Sibos again after so many things that have happened. And obviously, as Jaime says, it is an uncertain environment, and we'll just have to roll with that, right? But it's also I think it's a big step forward, and I'm looking forward to fully experiencing Sibos from the SWIFT perspective, with everybody kind of together, and that sort of unique combination that Sibos brings.
That's great, guys. So let's. This is it's a sneak peek show. So by definition, you need to sort of. Let's unveil whatever you can unveil, without breaking any news that you don't want to break. But let's talk a little bit about the big themes, I suppose, and I'm guessing that, dealing with the financial crisis is one, because post-COVID, there is for sure, the world is not the same, right? 2 years after the last Sibos. So without even which I did, but without even looking at the program, this is something that, for sure will dominate part of the conversation. What else is in store, Jaime?
So you're right. What you talked about is really about succeeding in uncertain times, because for a long time now, the industry's always been talking about risk management, right? There's always the regulation, there's compliance, there's all sorts of financial crime, regulatory guidelines that the industry will need to operate within, because that's just the bread and butter of being a financial institution. But I think in these few years, on top of this, we've got the pandemic, we've got the new way of working, the new way of living, and then of course we also have even more geopolitics uncertainty than we've ever had before as well. So when we did our consultations and the themes, like we always do with our customer community, I think this sub-theme of really how do we succeed together in uncertain times was very, very pertinent for the community. So it's all about being sure together, because there's a lot we can do together, right? I mean, in terms of sharing data, sharing best practices, making sure we're stronger as one industry, and even cybersecurity and protection. These are just the right to operate as institutions. So that's one big pillar that you just mentioned. And then another pillar that we really have a big focus on, especially for this year, is sustainability and ethics. So for the last 2 years, sustainability has always been a big topic, ESG. But this year, our main focus is really all about ethical financing, ethical investments, because there's a real desire from the financial institutions to do more and to do good and to do better, you see. And it's to help transition their clients to carbon neutral as well, because financial services, we have a role to play. We can make a change together. So I think we really see that across all of our customers wanting to, of course, move away from industries and that are, of course, not so good for the environment, even if it means walking away from profitability, and really help their clients transition. And then another pillar that we have is really about digital and technology. I'll pass it to Nick he's got a lot to share on that front.
Yeah, thank you, Jaime. I'm so pleased that the third pillar is really around embracing the digital landscape, because if you look really big picture, right, the world, our lives are being transformed by digital, and that permeates then into the economy, and then it permeates into all areas of finance, areas of payments, everything that we see happening around digital currencies, for example. So I think digital is absolutely fundamental, and then we'll see that that theme appearing through a number of different streams that we have in Sibos. So you'll be pleased to know, Matteo, that Innotribe remains true to that flame of looking further out and having those important, challenging conversations that we should be having about things that are coming towards us. So a focus, for example, on embedded finance, on DeFi, on Web3, those are really important, and those kind of embed themselves in some of the conversations we'll be having around the future of money, metaverse, quantum, obviously covering fintech, particularly fintech in Asia. So some of the really nice, important things that we should be talking about. And then I've been heavily involved in setting the sort of the content for the discover stage as well. And that will both focus on the what and also the how of innovation. So we'll be talking about things like AI and data collaboration, as well as kind of, some of the how piece about how you really leverage and get the value out of digital platforms, and indeed other techniques like design thinking, which has been going on, as a trend for some time. But actually, how do you really embed that in an established kind of institution? So I think really, really rich kind of content on the digital theme.
Thank you for the hook on the Innotribe piece, which of course is also super close to my heart, and I see with pleasure and proud, that SWIFT has been carrying on, this movement. I want to say it because it's really a movement that puts together, the great thinkers of the community, and actually it's also a great lead to my next question. SWIFT is probably the oldest, it's certainly the oldest global event for the financial community, right? Is Jaime, I don't know exactly, but I want to say this is edition 40, 38? I have no idea, but
I think it's version 45.
Yeah, 45, exactly. It's been 45 years, right?
Yeah.
And if I had to describe, so I will take the first answer to the question. If I had to describe what makes Sibos still relevant, in a world when you have other global, I also want to say more commercial players, that launched big, successful events that also resemble, especially the fintech communities. But what I think personally makes Sibos super relevant is the content, because no other events on earth, in my humble opinion, and I've been speaking and hanging on a few, has such a deep thought through focus on delivering the greatest content to the community, as well as, remember, Jaime, the advancing the critical dialogue. This is what Sibos has been doing and still does. Would you agree with me? That's an easy one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, because we take so much pride in coming up with the program. We have this super rigorous process. We go out to customers after every Sibos. So after Amsterdam, we will start customer consultations again, for Toronto next year. We will get there, we'll debrief with them, and then we align with them again in the beginning of the year to see what are some of the burning issues, what are some of their key priorities, because we are putting content out there to really identify community issues so that we can come up with industry solutions, right? That's our whole DNA, right? At SWIFT, it's to come up with responsible innovation, right? So we want to make sure that we're not just coming up with solutions to no problem. We need to identify the problem together and come up together and co-create the solution. So we do put a lot of effort into listening to our customers, making sure content is curated together with them. We are also very delicate with making sure that there's a lot of diversity in our speaker mix, because we are owned by the industry. We're not for profit. We really need to make sure there's a balanced voice across the agenda. Not only, some of the bigger players, but some of the smaller players, players from the emerging markets, and also players from the advanced markets as well. So it's a very delicate balance. I know, Matteo, you will remember, but we need to make sure that everyone's got a voice. It doesn't mean that you're a bigger financial institution, you get more airtime. So that's also another fun exercise that we do at Sibos. And we definitely don't pay to play, right? You will know that as well. So I think in that regard, we take, our mantra of being not for profit very, very strongly into Sibos as well. So yeah, Sibos is about content, it's about connections, and it's about communities. That's our whole mantra about doing what we do for that many years.
Maybe if I could just add on to that one as well, Jaime. I've been so impressed by that focus on the content and having really rich and deep content. And as an innovator, what I think we've also seen is that the innovation dialogue is permeating through into many of the streams. So obviously, Innotribe and Discover have always done that, but we've also now brought that also into the sort of the SWIFT at Sibos part of it, and also the main industry panels and discussions. And so it permeates across the whole of the conference program. So, trying to ensure that we have those important innovation conversations really, across the whole kind of conference. As Jaime says, we're really about solving industry challenges. I'm right. If you think about Matteo, SWIFT's initial creation, it was about solving one of the biggest challenges in the payments industry. How do you move money cross-border? Right. And so we're still about solving those industry challenges. And if we can bring, the financial community together to actually focus on those challenges and then come up with kind of collaborative solutions, that's what Sibos is all about. And it's what SWIFT is all about. And so, I think it's also, I think Sibos this year, as much and probably more than any year, is about sort of driving forward that collaborative innovation agenda so that we use it as a springboard to come out of kind of going, right, these are the things we're going to work on together and this is how we're going to solve them.
Great, guys. There's nothing short than what I was expecting, right? And I know because I sort of I overlooked at the program, and it's not just about the speakers, but it's also about being very comprehensive in terms of what the community wants to talk about. I'm really happy, Jaime, that you highlighted a little bit the process, of deciding what topics are going to be discussed at Sibos, and the fact that it's not because you have a bigger stand. Or because you just raised, a multi-million-dollar round, that you have the power, to manage or to drive any of this discussion. This is, one of the, and I love the word delicate because it's almost like a silent force, this is what, but like it is pervasive and is also super, super relevant. So thank you, guys. Let's have a short break right now, and we are coming back talking about the exhibition. Okay? Stay with us. It's a wrap.
Do you want to be part of Breaking Banks Europe? Reach out and learn more about the opportunity to be featured in one of our shows. With over 1.6 million listeners and counting, Breaking Banks Europe is bound to become the place to advance critical dialogue in Europe and the UK fintech scene. Reach out on Instagram or Twitter at Breaking Banks EU or go to www.provoke.fm.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 147, sneak peek of Sibos 2022. I'm here with Jaime and Nick. We talked about the content, why Sibos is super relevant, why it's different. And I want to talk a little bit about the exhibition now for two reasons. One, because, first of all, I'm super impressed that, you guys managed to close it in 4 weeks. That's almost the dream of every single event organizer, right? But most importantly, last time I remember the more like a startup dedicated part of the exhibition was London, I think. So London was the first real attempt to make fintechs relevant for Sibos. Then, unfortunately, you guys had to hit on pause, which is, fair enough. I want to understand from Jaime and then Nick how the exhibition floor evolved in terms of, because space is limited, there are new players, before, if you didn't have a SWIFT big code, you couldn't be, and I'm simplifying, but just for our audience to understand, it wasn't that easy, to take part of Sibos. How you guys coped, with the fast evolving industry, right? Because all of a sudden you have a very well financed fintechs in the lending space or in the payment space that were not SWIFT members, but still super relevant. So was this a challenge, Jaime?
Yeah. So you said it right. So in Sibos, we have two spaces, right? The main Sibos marketplace, and there I think that's been always the case that we see the financial institutions and a lot of technology providers, right, throughout all these years. In London, we did have the biggest Discover space yet with the most number of fintechs. At that time, I think it was over 120 fintechs in London in 2019. But we did started piloting Discover in 2017. But at the time, we were much smaller. I think we only started out with maybe 20 fintechs. And then when we went to London, Sydney in 2018, I think we had about 70. So we were really growing from strength to strength. And then, of course, the pandemic came, and then now it's the big reset again. And then, so what you can expect to see in Discover in Amsterdam is we will have over 50 fintechs, and 3 innovation hubs actually that will showcase as well. And we're actually very pleased with this number because we thought, oh my goodness, are we going to go back to 20? Because it's the great reset, right, for Sibos. So we're super chuffed that we have over 50. The thing about Discover is we've designed it in such a way that it's for our fintech friends, it's for them to as easy as possible. We know they are starting up. There's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of challenges as well. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible for them to pick up a module that's suitable for them in terms of size, and then they move in, and it's little built for them. So there is little investment. In fact, it's going to be an opportunity for them to showcase to the global financial system there. So that was our intent when we wanted to do Discover to service the fintech community. Yeah, when it comes to exhibition. I'll let Nick talk a little bit more about the content and just the strategic importance of what we're doing at Discover.
Thanks, Jaime. I mean, I think it's actually fantastic that we'll have over 50 fintechs exhibiting in Discover, and in addition to that, we've got over 300 more signed up to be part of Sibos. So I detect a real kind of strong interest from the fintech community joining us at Sibos and interacting together with the established financial institutions, right? We're all one financial community ultimately. And actually, a lot of the problems and challenges, things and opportunities that we're looking at are very much common. And many of those exhibiting at Discover will also have the ability to be on the Discover stage and share some of the what they're doing to that wider audience. And we're also including a number of those in some of our more sort of themed Discover sessions. So when we're talking, for example, about data collaboration or privacy enhancing technologies or innovating together with platforms, we'll have a number of our kind of fintech partners on stage with us to talk about, how they can help the industry kind of innovate better, how their solution can actually, provide added value. So I think there's actually a big role here in terms of the fintech community for everything from fairly recent startup to more established fintechs, right? Because the fintech world is a pretty diverse one now, and it's grown in importance. So I think we'll see that whole kind of range and spectrum there at present across Sibos. I think with that, we'll also see some other opportunities for those fintechs to actually share and kind of, shine in terms of what they're doing. So the Perfect Pitch competition, for example, continues this year, which is always great fun and a great way of, fintechs actually being able to kind of pitch what they do and then get voted for. And the winners usually go on to great things.
I love this one, guys. I don't know, Jaime, if you remember, but at one of the first, Innotribe at Sibos, we invited Guy Kawasaki, and
yes.
Remember that, right? So
yes.
Guy came, and since then, one of the things I always say to the startup that we are mentoring, that I am mentoring personally, is that, guys, before even thinking of doing a pitch, go and check what Guy Kawasaki says and make sure that all your slides are there. That would be a good start. It's incredible because right now the culture, the entrepreneurship culture and what you have at your disposal in terms of openness of banks and SWIFT itself, to welcome entrepreneurs and new ideas. I heard, for example, that there is a hackathon on digital assets, right? And that has been what was that, Nick?
Yeah, so we've been running the SWIFT hackathon now for several years, and it's always a very popular event to kind of get involved in. Basically, what we do in kind of in sort of June is we set a challenge and a theme for the hackathon, and then we invite teams in to come and solve that challenge, and we get teams from very diverse kind of different backgrounds. Big established financial institutions, smaller institutions, tech providers, fintechs. So we get quite a coverage. Last year we covered 2 challenges around AI and machine learning. This year, because digital assets is one of our kind of key disruptive trends that we're looking at this year, we wanted to look at digital assets. So we've got 2 challenges on digital assets, one around interoperability and the second one about ownership and traceability of ownership. We've got over 15 institutions kind of now with a number of teams involved in that. They're really working hard away at the moment. And then
because the challenge, sorry if I interrupt you, because the challenge is not just for startups, right? It's also for
absolutely.
It's also like any financial institutions or technology providers. Is really it's involving the whole community, right?
Totally, and even this year we've got one central bank involved. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's a real, the whole breadth of the financial community can come and join this hackathon. And I think the fact that we've got such a diverse range of teams this year actually shows that everybody's thinking about digital assets and kind of wants to contribute. And those teams will then submit their, what they've done to our panel of judges, and then the winners and runner-up of each challenge get showcased on the Innotribe stage on the Thursday. So that's always one really fun session to look forward to. But it's also, I think, quite meaningful, because the hackathon actually, I think, gives the community a sense of a kind of direction as to how you can solve some of these emerging things. So. I'm super excited.
I love it. Yeah, you sound, and you should be excited about this. I love it because it is almost like an evolution of the what used to be the startup challenge, right?
Right,
Innotribe,
exactly.
that was actually inside. Yeah. And by the way, guys, brainstorming live, but think of for maybe next Sibos, bring all the unicorns that were at Innotribe, and bring them in a session.
Mm-hmm.
They all Swift that at least, the Revolut and the TransferWise and these guys. That would be a nice session, and a free suggestion, Jamie. And I won't charge for this. I won't charge for this free tip. Jamie, let's talk a little bit about what's happening outside Sibos. Outside the exhibition. The Swift is known for the many events. The outside the floors, and I think that this year everyone is excited because they can, right? So I wonder whether or not there will be an overload of social events or networking events, right?
Yeah. So we have many open Sibos networking events. So on Monday we have the Discover cocktail. So I really want to invite everybody to drop by the Discover, meet the fintechs. It's our only Sibos official networking event, and we made it on Monday because we really want to give tribute and time and priority to the fintech community. And so that's happening on Monday. On Tuesday, on the Swift stand, we have this thing called the Swift Gold cocktail. Matthew, you've left Swift for a while, but we're so focused as a company to help solve low value payments problems. Because traditionally Swift has been in more of the high value payment space, the wholesale and the corporate flows, but we see that there's an opportunity really for instant and frictionless end-to-end accounts, and that's what we really want to help the members achieve. So it's a celebration because the uptake, the adoption of Go is really quite high, and like every part of the institution can use Swift, not just the corporate bank but also the retail bank. So we're going to celebrate as the community comes together, because many of the customers are going live. So that's on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it's the most exciting day in my opinion. First of all, we have the Innotribe networking event, and it's not at the Rai. It's in this really cool venue. It's called the Eye Museum. It's a museum in Amsterdam that is dedicated to cinema. So it's going to be like a real experience to just go there, enter, and really enjoy, different types of cinematic installations that we've prepared. So it's going to be a time where we really can appreciate, the arts while networking as well. That very evening, we also have Women of Sibos. So it's an event that we have for about 3 years now, really just to celebrate diversity. And then on Thursday, last but not least, is we're going to close after the closing plenary with the closing networking party, and we're going to bring Amsterdam into the Rai. So we have all different facets and arts and performing acts from Amsterdam around the city, and we'll bring that into the glass auditorium building of the Rye for a little party before everybody.
So the party, Jaime, is inside the venue this year.
Yes.
Oh, cool, great.
The party comes to Sibos this time.
That's also an art that that the Sibos team has been performing excellently, in the past years, and it is true that probably the question, why you're coming to Sibos is always still networking, right? Also because the way this community does it is probably in the purest sense. I've seen friendship at Sibos that last decades. And this is something that you will never take out from Sibos. Frankly. Guys, any final thoughts or anything that you think our auditors should know about, or we simply say see you in a couple of weeks?
I want to pick up on your networking point, Matteo. So besides these networking events, right, I really want, your viewers to understand that, there's so much space and opportunities to network in Sibos. So we will bring back the Sibos Gardens again this time. We actually had that in Sydney and in London as well, because Sibos can get very busy, there's lots of pots to do networking. There's lots of events, there's lots of content sessions, but we've created Sibos Gardens sometimes when delegates just need time to have a breather, check their phone, call their family, right? So visit the Sibos Gardens. It's just going to be on top of the exhibition. And then on the Sibos match also, we're going to have scan and connect. So instead of giving out business cards, I really encourage everybody to scan and connect, because we want to be sustainable and cut down on paper waste. Once you scan the contact that you want to make friends with, it gets saved to your phone. So that's going to be a good way to exchange contacts. And then on the app as well, there's like, you can look at like-minded friends. There will be some algorithm that can suggest to you people that you might want to meet. It's a bit like Sibos Tinder, I guess. and so if you ticked like standards or a federated learning, or
is it really the swipe right or left, or you call it the Tinder of Sibos?
No, I'm just joking. We don't swipe, but there are names that you can tick.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah.
Because swipe might be a little bit too harsh, probably.
Yeah. So that's going to be that's available for both in-person and digital delegates as well.
Maybe just reinforcing what Jaime said, I'd encourage everyone who's going to really make the full use of the Sibos app, because Sibos, there's so much going on, right? It can feel a bit overwhelming, right? And it's quite easy to kind of miss things, not because you just didn't see the thing was happening, right? So but the Sibos app makes that really, really easy now, because you can go in, you have you have the whole program, but then you select your program, and then you can build the whole program for you on the app, and then that kind of almost then helps you guide you through your kind of whole Sibos journey over the 4 days. So I've just been constructing my program, and I can definitely say it makes a huge difference. So everybody should get the app and start building.
Yeah, little personal assistant.
Yeah, exactly. So, my team is super excited because as it happens, Breaking Banks is going to be one of the, I want to say media partner or press partner, one of the two. So I'm not particularly good with how do you say it, with definitions, but we're going to be there, interviewing some of the guests, some of you guys. And actually, as it happens, none of my team has ever been to Sibos, so Renata and Francesca, so for them, they were so curious about, being in such an historical an historical event. So I'm excited for them to come. And for me, of course, it would be like a great way to say hi to my old family. So
the great reunion.
Absolutely. Jaime, Nick, thank you very much for being with us today. It is, the online information about Sibos is excellent. So, and the app, indeed, the soonest you download it, the better you can prepare the event. I hope that many of the first timers at Sibos, listening to the show, I'm pretty sure that now got super excited, and I can only say super happy to see you there in a few days, guys.
Thanks for listening to Breaking Banks Europe, a Provoke Media podcast in cooperation with Fintech Stage. Don't forget to tweet us out, shout out, or post to the team at Breaking Banks EU on Twitter. If there's something or someone you'd like to hear on our cast, let us know. See you next week on Breaking Banks Europe.